Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and I'm evaluating commerce this morning. I was watching Numbers last night, and there was this beautiful line where they explained how economy works. You put money into an economy, into a community, and that money will make more money and bring more money in. And as the diagram unfolds, showing how money cycles through, literally breeding money, replicating money. The capitalist in the room says it's extraordinary. And he says, the main character, Charlie, he says, why would a capitalist be surprised that capitalism works? And logically, it was bothering me. He was correct. And that's exactly how it works. But logically, I'm stepping back. Logically, it's correct. But that's not what we think. And I was surprised as well. I know, and I saw, and I still felt the surprise going, oh my God, that's amazing. And then he said that line, and I asked the question, why does a capitalist act surprised when capitalism works? And it's because we have a logical fallacy inside of our heads that money just cycles over. Like there's only X amount of money inside a community. It's a closed network. That's the problem. We assume that we have a closed network, that if you have X amount of dollars inside the community, well, that's all the dollars you're going to have. And you have to divide that and share it among everybody in the community. That's the logical fallacy. And my immediate thought was, well, how do you eliminate this logical fallacy? Well, knowledge and education. You need the correct amount of knowledge and education. So here's where the logical fallacy is going wrong. When you are in the first person point of view, you, a person, you as in to whom it may apply, will immediately assume they are a closed network with the assumption that X amount of dollars is in this little community, therefore X amount of dollars is all we have. And this makes so much sense. So they only see the money, and this is what it is. They are basically missing variables to the entire equation. So they see the money go from their employer to them. They see the money go then from them into the grocery store. And that's it. Then next week, they get more money, or maybe 2 weeks, they get more money from their employer, and they see that same amount going back into it. And they are living paycheck to paycheck. And everyone they speak to is living paycheck to paycheck. So between the first person point of view, the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, they, according to their perspective, are only seeing money go in and the exact same money going out, and it's never enough. There is a flaw. I see where the flaw is. The flaw is the person X who is working. Oh, wow. You can be one of a few things in this lineup. You can be a conduit. Or you can be a supplier. Oh. Or you can be a receiver. I'm going to change this wording a little bit to coincide with my emotional transaction of human connection graph. You can be a conduit. You can be a, giver. Or you can be a transmitter. That's it, a transmitter or a receiver. The transmitter is the one who has the renewable resources and is putting out. That would be your employer in most cases. And they're the ones actually making profit. The receiver is the buyer. They're the ones who have the coinage and they are passing. Oh my God, this makes so much sense. The receiver is the buyer. They're the ones, the consumer, the merchant. They're the ones who are giving the money into the business. But if you have a job as a conduit, this is going to fuck the whole thing up. And this is making a lot of sense. People will go in and take jobs as conduits. And that's not going to work. My God, is that not going to work? You create jobs, yes, but that's where you are. Yeah, this is where you have to make money above the living wage. That's really what it comes down to. You have to make more money than the living wage. There it is. And we're not. This is where it's all getting fucked up. The conduits are not making money that is more than the living wage. That's the problem. This is not news. We all know this. So I'm huge on you have your. So you have a resource. And the way supply and demand works is basically there's a value assigned to your resources. And the value is what is the most rare resource, supply and demand, and rate your resources in terms of value. So let's take me, for instance. There's my brain and there's my knowledge. This is absolutely my most valuable resource, the shit that I know. And then there is my time. Now, I only have X amount of time, but my brain and my knowledge is unlimited. So my brain and my knowledge is what I would refer to as a renewable resource. But my time, well, I do believe I only have 24 hours of that every day, right? We all do. Now, therefore, based on this logic, because your time is the most rare of your resources, it should be absolutely the highest cost. So let's assume for a minute that you are a business, because you are, and you have renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Your non-renewable resource is time, which means that should be going for top dollar. Mine is $5,000 an hour because it's 24 hours in a day. So yeah, I'm $5,000 an hour because you want my non-renewable resource? No. My brain, my knowledge is what's renewable. So I can sit down and do a YouTube video or write a course, and that will have sustained value that increases in value, that can be redistributed infinitely, as opposed to my time. Yeah, I'm $5,000 an hour. So that being said, the other thing is my time takes away from my family, my mental health, my children. Yeah. Now I'm going, the value of my time is now through the roof. Bad economy is when you sell your most rare resource for bottom dollar, less than the living wage. That is insanity. That makes no logical or economic sense. So it now poses the question, if you're a conduit, what are you supposed to do? You can either choose to not be a conduit, or we need to raise the living wage. Now, this is where it gets into a catch-22. X amount of profits are desired. Living wage needs to, let's say living wage is X. And because it costs X amount of a living wage, now profits or cost of material has to go up. So it becomes, and this is what we see, is living wage goes up, costs go up, living wage go up, so costs go up, living wage goes. So now they're competing. That is a lack of balance. And there's a third piece missing. That's why they're not getting along. Is because this is what happens when there's no equilibrium. Equilibrium does not require two. You need three. There's a third piece missing. There is a third piece missing in economics. Booyah! Because that third piece is going to be the neutral. Okay, so everything in life exists exactly like a neutron. Not a neutron, an atom. Everything in life exists exactly like an atom. You have a positive, you have a negative, and you have a neutral. You must have three. And when you lose one of those three pieces, you're going to have an imbalance. You must have the neutral to stabilize, just like in an atom. You need the third to stabilize. In our current economic, with a living wage and the cost of material, there is a third unknown X in our economy that is missing, which is why it's unstable, which is why we've got this toggling back and forth. Once you put that third piece in there, it's going to stabilize and settle. The question is, what is X? There is something there that's missing. Oh, I got work to do. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Because once we figure out what X is, this whole garbage will stop and it will settle and it will stabilize. And people will be making enough profit, and businesses will make enough profit. And so the question is, what is that neutral X in economics that we don't have at the moment? Every business requires it. Ooh, I have a business. I have 3 businesses. It's really important that I figure this out because it will affect my capitalism. I love capitalism. I got to figure this shit out. Living wage. Because we're now looking at staff and we're bringing staff on. And in the back of my brain, I'm going, ethical. It has to be ethical. I know it has to be ethical. We're going to figure this out. And I will not bring on people for like bottom dollar. I'm like, no, what's the living wage? Now add X, and that's what they need to make. And I'm going, okay, what? There's something missing. There's something missing. There's something missing. I can feel it in my bones. My logical intuition is going up the charts. And I watched this little snippet on numbers last night, and I went, something's wrong. That's correct. And it's illogical. Because you have somebody who is behaving as a conduit. And if you are going to be using conduits, the conduit must be making more than living wage. What is it? And I'm going to put it in my business. And it's going to allow me to make the profits I need and want, and it's going to fuel the economy and nourish and flourish. I want to nourish and flourish my employees. I want to nourish and flourish. That's what I want. Come on, logic. I know you're here. I want my employees to nourish and flourish. And in order to do that, I have got to give them more than living wage. What do I do? There's something missing here. As cost goes in, so money goes in. Why did investment just click? Something in my brain just went, investment. 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 Investment is the neutral. I don't know what that means, but it feels right. I've been getting child support for like 7 years. Longer than that, 12 years. My child support's always late. Not because he pays late. It's auto paid out right out of his account. But it's still late. Why? I wanted to know. So I researched it. Why is my child support showing up late if he has auto pay coming out of his paycheck? So I called and found out why. I did a lot of digging and research. And this is what I learned. When a man pays child support, when a person pays child support, it goes into a bank and it sits there accruing interest. And then they pay out to the person receiving child support. You don't pay out of profits. That's stupid. You pay out of investment. You pay out of investment. I'm pretty sure that's it. Then you can afford to pay them living wage and then some. You reinvested. That's so fucking stupid to not do that. Just be honest about it. Because then you won't have to raise the price. You won't have to raise the price. The price will stabilize. And the investment will grow. What if this was legally mandated so that every business had to do this? That you have to invest your money, your profits. The government does it without our knowing, and it's perfectly legal. I mean, it's the government. They can make whatever fuck the laws they want and say, look, it's legal. But if you do that, you wouldn't have to raise prices, and you could afford living wage. You pay them out of their investments. So the buyer comes in and makes a purchase, and it goes into investment. It sits there for X amount of time. And then you pay them out of the investment, and the new profits go in. And then the investment, that is what covers the living wage. Now, I want to give them more than living wage. So it's going to be living wage plus X. Plus bonus. Then they can flourish without raising prices. But the money that comes in has to go into investment, and then you pay off of the investment. You know, I bet you that's it. I have to look into investment. Because you have to make sure that your investments I'll have to look. Logically, this is checking out. See, every time I saw it and I was going, wait a minute, wage, it wasn't making any sense. And I'm like, well, that's because there's an imbalance. This is why you need math and physics, people. Math and physics for the win. Fuck yes. That will correct for the equilibrium, the lack of balance in the equilibrium. And it will literally allow the economy to stabilize so you won't see inflation. It will literally eliminate inflation. It will end inflation. And therefore, there will be no reform because you're looking at a swinging pendulum. So you have your pendulum here and then it swings to the other. It's that avoid, indulge. You're supposed to integrate it, but you need the neutral to integrate it. And if you don't have the neutral, it's not going to do that. You're just going to swing back and forth without actually progressing. That's not progression. You must integrate with that neutrality in order to get progression. But we're never there. And to get there in the world of economy, because you've got that swinging pendulum, it's avoid. Yes, I see it now. So you indulge in the big surge of a pay raise. And that's when they say, oh, let's increase the living wage. We feel that. There's the indulge. But then it's, oh, inflation has to now happen. Oh, we need another pay raise. Oh, inflation has to happen because they are not integrating the two with investment. But they're doing it with child support. They figured it out. Every person who pays child support, it all goes into investment. All of it. And it sits there. And then 2 weeks later, that's when, the delay. And that's just it, is there's going to be a delay. But that delay allows them to make profit off of the investment. Now, you just be honest with the employees. Look, we're going to be a delay, but that delay is in the investment so you can have living wage plus and you won't see inflation. I would fucking consent to that in a heartbeat. If they're honest and transparent, I would be on board with that in a heartbeat. I'd be like, oh, fuck yes. Absolutely. Do it. Give me living wage. Pay me off of the investment instead of profits. Dumbest fucking thing you can do is pay off of profits. And I can feel it. I'm going, I want to build a fucking skyscraper. That's fucking expensive. I want a school. I want a university. I want something happening in Ireland. And I'm looking at this going, yeah, that's going to cost a lot of fucking money, which means I'm going to make sure I need to be a billionaire because this is what I've got planned. And I'm going, how the fuck do I make sure I can do what I want to do while making sure my people are taken care of? This is it. And the only thing it's going to cost them is a delay. But if I can foresee this delay, I can get ahead of the game so that they actually won't see a gap. So the question is, what's the rotation? I would need to look, this is so much. I love money. Oh my God, do I love playing with money. Woohoo! Okay, so then this is how it would look. It's basically, it would be rate, like time, basically would be time. How long does it sit in investment? How much it sits in investment? So quantity and time. And I would need X amount prior to payout so that still continues to increase so that they get it. And like I said, I want living wage for my employees plus X. I almost want to give them like 25% more. Maybe 15% more. I don't know. This is where I have to sit down and calculate it. But I want it's your living wage plus a percentage. Living wage plus 25%. What's the living wage right now? I have no idea what it is. I'm so far out of this community. I got my own community. Let me see here. All right. My God, I'm so excited. That was bothering me the other day. I was looking at it going, wait, inflation and what is it called? Not reformation, recession. Yeah, that's it. Inflation and recession. That was a huge red flag to me. I'm like, well, that's imbalanced math. Inflation and recession. That is absolutely broken math. See? I'm looking at that going, that's broken math. And I've been watching this since the 1980s. I remember I grew up in the fucking Cold War, and I'm sitting here listening to my parents go, oh, it's inflation, oh, it's recession, it's reflation. And here I am in my generation going, we've been doing this for a really long time. Has anyone else noticed? And I worked in retail for 20 years. So I'm sitting here going, I remember this one couple, it was right after 9/11. They came in and they purchased like $300 on Tommy Hilfiger, and then they walked out. 5 minutes later, they came back and they said, we know what's coming. We've been here before. A recession is on its way. We shouldn't have spent this. And they returned 100% of it. And that's stuck in my brain. We've been here before. Pattern? You've been, and they were old. They were like 60 years old. And I'm going, for 60 years. And this was 2001. It was literally a month after 9/11. For 60 years, these people report seeing this pattern. And they're going, yeah, we've been here before. We know it's coming. There's a recession happening. And they return the money. And I'm going, you know that returning this is actually what's causing the recession? Interesting. Really fascinating. But they noticed the pattern for 60 years. And that was 20 years ago. So now we're looking at 80 fucking years. 80 years of inflation, recession. And I'm going, I know physics. That is imbalanced math. Who's fucking up the economy? Because someone's fucking up the economy because that math doesn't add up. That is broken math. There's a neutral missing. There's a third. They need a grounding balance. You got your reward, you don't avoid. And it's like, so it's like this. You're driving the car down the highway and you overcompensate. So you jerk the thing and your car does this. And now you're fishtailing. That's what this is. This is fishtailing. See how physics ties everything together? This is fishtailing. Our economy has been fishtailing because we're inflation and recession. In order to stop a fishtail, come on, physics, you need your neutral. You need that third piece to get your stability. We have an unstable economy. We know this. We know this. This is not new. Every one of us is sitting here going, why the fuck am I spending my time, which is the most valuable resource I've got, for bottom dollar and I can barely eat? You know? I really think it's investment. Paying out of profits is the dumbest fucking thing you can do. You don't pay out of profits. You pay out of investment. I love business. I'm going to invest. See, and I really want to say, I need to make sure that this is accurate. And my logic is going, oh, it's accurate. It's accurate. This will fix it. My logic is screaming so happy right now. And I'm like, yes. And I can feel it. And I'm going, the math is already adding up. I can see the math. And I'm like, oh, Anna, you got to sit down and look into the books. I know I do, but I'm so excited because it feels good and it feels right, which tells me it's spot the fuck on. It's paying out of investment. You don't pay out of your profits. You pay out of your investments. Let me just, oh God, I can see it. I was watching a lot of why cash flow is more important than profit. Investment and economic profits. Investment is paying an economic profit. It's basically paying out free money more than a similar investment. Cash flow versus profit. What's the difference and why it matters? Dumb fucks are paying out a profit. Revenue versus profit. What's the difference? Revenue is the total amount of income generated by the sale of goods or services related to the company's primary operation. Yeah. Cash flow versus profit. Harvard Business. Investopia, the difference between profitability and profit. Well, profitability is a concept. Profit is an absolute amount. Profits without prosperity. Right here. Harvard again. Taxpayers have an interest in whether a corporation that uses government investments can generate profits that allow it to pay taxes, which constitute, this is from Harvard Business Review. Through corporate profits are high and stock market is booming, most Americans are not sharing in the economic recovery, while the top 1.1% of income recipients reap almost all the income gain. Good jobs keep disappearing. and new ones tend to be insecure and underpaid. One of the major causes, instead of investing their profits in growth opportunities, corporations are using them for stock repurchases. Take the 449 firms that were publicly listed from 2003 to 2012. During that period, they used 54% of their earnings, a total of $2.4 trillion, to buy back their own stock. Why are you, what the fuck? Dividends absorbed an extra 37%. Warren Buffett is one of my favorite mentors. I read a lot from Warren Buffett. And I'm going, yeah, all right, I got it. Yeah. Why reinvent the wheel when you got people like showing you, hey, this is how it's done? Dividends absorbed an extra 37% of their earnings. They left little to fund. Okay, so this is a typo. That left little to no fund productive capabilities or better income for workers. Why are such a massive resources dedicated to stock buybacks? Because stock-based instruments make up the majority of executives' pay, and buybacks drive up short-term stock prices. Buybacks contribute to runaway, executive compensation and economic inequality in a major way because they extract value rather than create it. There, I spot the fuck on. I knew it. That's why I'm going, you got to invest. You got to invest because you need to make the money. You don't make the money from the profit. They are investing. Oh my God. If their overuse undermines the economy's health, to restore true prosperity to the country, government and business leaders must take steps to rein them in. 5 years after the official end of the Great Recession, corporate profits are high, stock market's booming, but most Americans are not sharing in the recovery. While the top 1% of income recipients, which include most of the highest-ranking corporate executives, reap almost all the income gain. Good jobs keep disappearing, new employment opportunities tend to be insecure and underpaid. Corporate profitability is not translating into widespread economic prosperity because it's broken. That's where I'm going. How can math be broken? And this is the buyback wave has gotten so big. I skipped like 2 paragraphs because I read it previously. The buyback wave has gotten so big, in fact, that even shareholders, the presumed beneficiaries of all corporate largesse, I don't know how to pronounce this word. I've read it before, but I haven't pronounced it. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Largesse. This is what happens when you are isolated so much that you don't know how a word sounds. Largesse. 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 Okay. Oh, that's on America. That's on British. Let me hear the American pronunciation. Largesse. Largesse. Okay. Let me go back over to the article. Largesse are getting worried. What does it mean? Sorry, linguist. Have to look all this shit up. Generosity and bestowing money or gifts upon each other. Bounty. French. Of course it's French. Okay. The presumed beneficiaries of all this corporate largesse are getting worried. It concerns us that in the wake of the financial crisis, many companies have shied away from investing in the future growth of their companies. The world's largest asset manager wrote in an open letter to corporate America in March, too many companies have cut capital expenditure and even increased debt to boost dividends and increase share buybacks. What the fuck? Why would you put your entire company on the fate of the market? So fucking stupid. Why are such massive resources being devoted to stock repurchases? Corporate executives give several reasons, which I will discuss later, but none of them have close to the explanatory power of the simple truth. Stock-based instruments make up the majority of their pay. As a result, very few people we rely on to make investments in the productive capabilities that will increase our shared prosperity are instead devoting most of their company's profits to use that will increase their own prosperity with unsurprising results. All right, I'm going to take this article, click, 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 and I'm going to drop it down below. That way you guys can read it if you want. Okay. Yeah, I am so fucking happy about this. Yes. All right. So now I just need the formula. I need the formula for how much I need per employee calculated also by considering where they live and what the living wage is in that region. Because I need to make what I want and what they need and want. So it's what I want plus what they want equals profits after investment. I got the formula. There you go. This is easy peasy. Then I get to choose where to invest. All right. Now, I do know that you don't get to see proper profits in investment until you reach a certain X amount in your bank account, which means I need to research good investments, good places to invest with the highest return for my dollar. So it's what I want plus what my people want. Plus return on investment. No, because I'm going to think here for a minute. So it's what I want, what they want, plus profits. That's it. Plus profits. That's what I want. So it's what I want. So it's what I want for my own income, what they want so they can live and flourish. I want them to flourish and nourish. Nourish them, flourish, prosper. This is the people. I'm gonna be so fucking awesome to my people. I love my people. So there you go. So flourish, nourish, and prosper. That's what I want for my staff. And then profits equal. There's the price for how much the course needs to be. That's for everything. So that will cover. Yeah. So I also need to know. Yeah. So it's the percentage of ROI. Okay. All right. So I have a much better. Oh, I know exactly what to do. Okay. So basically you have the investor, the bank, and I'm saying bank, but let's just, and then you have the business, the garden, and then you have, and I won't touch stocks. I won't touch stocks. Too risky. I want something solid. I want something solid and stable. I don't like playing risk with my money. I don't do that fucking shit. All right, so business and then my people, my conduits. There we go. So the business has to make, so it's a win, win, win. There it is. Yeah, it's definitely the investor. All right. And that should get you a stable economy. All right. I feel much, much better. Yeah, it was bothering me. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. How the fuck can you get ahead if you're paying out of profits? That's the dumbest thing in the fucking world is paying out of profits. Fucking stupid. No, you pay out of investment. You don't pay out of profits. All right. Thank you so much. May the kindest of words always find you.